has hosted numerous pasture walks and field days, and is a pioneer of rotational grazing in Georgia, and a constant proponent of its implementation. With that, Ted.
Thank you very much. Well, we've heard some great stories here today, and I've already started compiling a list of what I'm going to start working on when I get home, some of the things I've seen. First of all, I'm Ted Hughes. I want to thank you all for this opportunity to be here today, and I hope that you've seen and heard, and you continue to see and hear things that make you want to get excited about forage production. I'm excited about it, and I'm about to make a mess here. My wife, let's see. That's my wife, Patsy. She would love to be here today, but as you know, somebody's got to make a living. But no, she was getting sick, and she was afraid she didn't want to come and share anything she had with everybody. Patsy and I have a farm we call Chantilly in Oglethorpe County, Georgia, and I believe I pushed the wrong button again. We try to manage to where we have all the nutritional requirements of our cattle through forage production. We purchased 25 acres of a worn-out cotton farm in 1966, and we started with just a little more than a dream. And I want to tell you that forage production and soil conservation is what kept our dream from becoming a nightmare. When I was a little boy, 70 years ago, and I came into Oglethorpe County, I remember hard times. And I'm not just talking about hard times economically. I'm talking about hard times for the land. Every inch of land in Oglethorpe County that wasn't in cut-over timber land was being plowed and planted. People were trying to scratch a living out of red dirt that was completely void of topsoil. I know y'all have read about them dredging the channel down in Savannah. A lot of that stuff comes from our place. But I can remember as a kid playing in big red raw eroded gullies. I remember when a shower of rain would bring enough water in the ditches that we could paddle around. I mean, we thought like we had a wash over the creek. Just a storm, just a thunderstorm, and you could just see the water, muddy water flowing everywhere. Oglethorpe County was like a big red sore on the face of the earth. And forage production and management is what we saw slowly but surely healing our land and changing the complexion of our county from red to green. That's why I can say to you today that I'm dead serious about what I'm talking about. I love what I'm doing. I wake up every morning feeling good about the accomplishments we've made and about the accomplishments we're going to continue to make. And we come to things like this. And when I say we did this and we did that, I'm not talking about me and Patsy. I'm talking about everybody in this room, everybody in this state, and everybody in this country who loves their land and is willing to work to preserve it and protect it so that our children and grandchildren can have the same opportunities that we have. And I think that's terribly important. And I want you to know that I'm dead serious about it. Chantilly has twice been recognized as Farm Family of the Year in Broad River Watershed. What am I doing here? Man, I tell you what, I know more about growing grass than I do working these. We've been twice we've been, I didn't even touch it that time. Okay, all right, okay. I won't lay it down there no more. How about that? I'll stick it right under there. Okay. Twice we've been named Farmer of the Year in the Broad River Watershed District in Georgia. And I think that we're the only family that's ever been recognized twice. And then it was the first time was in 1986. The second time was in 2006. And then in 2008, we won the Governor's Environmental Stewardship Award in our district. And so we have a background in soil and water conservation, and we're proud of it. Our entire operation, like I say, is designed to provide the nutritional requirements of our cattle through forage production. But don't let my boots, my hat, and my cows fool you. I'm not a cattle producer. I'm a grass farmer. I grow grass for a living. Grass is my cash crop. And I treat it like a cash crop. Our cattle simply convert our grass into a valuable, marketable product. That's why we have them. We have an extensive, I don't want you to be fooled by my cows or my grass. We're grass farmers. We have an extensive rotational grazing system. And we have 28 pastures, I believe. Each one of those water tanks, we have 6 water stations, and the fences go off. They each got big tanks, water tanks in them, heavy use areas. As a satellite view of one of the water stations, you can see the hub in the middle where the tank is, and the fences go off like spokes of a wheel, and hence the name wagon wheel grazing system. We use split hot wire to split some of the larger pastures. We step graze some of it. We rotate our cattle constantly. One of the things that rotation helps us to distribute in the nutrients, what we call nutrients now, we always call it manure. So manure is more proper than other words. But anyhow, we try not to have areas where the cows hang around and loaf and have big deposits. But we also have a hay barn. But I have a friend. He's the district. No, he's a state grassland conservationist, grazing conservation. Philip Brown, y'all know him. And Philip told me a long time ago. He said, anything you put between your cow and your grass is expensive, especially if it's made out of iron or oil. And I think what Philip was trying to tell me was something I kind of already knew. God made cows, God made grass, man made hay balers. I mean, you know. Anyhow, we use hay as an insurance policy. We do feed some hay. We don't feed much. We feed it when we have to. We feed as little as possible. We have a cow-calf operation, and we stock our calves. We wean them and stock them. And our calves are born in the wintertime. And my wife wanted me to point this out. She said, ain't no leaves on that tree. It's wintertime. Look at the grass. That's the way we like it. We like for our cattle to go out there and graze. We wean our calves and stocker them. Sometimes when we stocker them, we double our stocking rate for a short period of time. You know, you got a cow-calf, that's a unit. Then you wean the calf, you got 2 units. And one day you got 1 unit, next day you got 2 units. But But if you're going to have the kind of grass to stock your cattle with and keep your cattle gaining weight, you have to work at it. I think if you had a pencil, and every time I mention the word management today, if you make a mark, it'll show you that I consider management the most important thing we got on our plate every day. Our pastures are predominantly tall fescue, common Bermuda grass, with several varieties of white clover. We also plant some ryegrass, and we overseed our pastures with clover, and we usually have about 2 or 3 different varieties of clover. Durano is one we're really happy with. We have a lot of weeds, but the cattle seem to like them if you feed them to them before they get tough. Weeds are not all bad. I think if you got a piece of land and you quit doing anything to it, you're going to go out there and there's going to be a bunch of weeds come up. God does that so that land don't wash away so bad. Now, so that tells you those weeds are doing something good. When you cut them down, the roots stay in the ground. Weeds are not bad. Most of my permanent pastures, like I say, are fescue, clover, and Bermuda grass. We start stockpiling forage. They talk about stockpiling fescue. I stockpile whatever's growing. We start stockpiling forage, and the RFQ on this stuff we're stockpiling is relatively high. We used to think it wasn't. We used to say, well, old burn over fescue ain't much good. But we found out that on this one pasture we just checked this year, the RFQ was from 147 to 177. That's pretty high. So what we do is we stockpile that forage, and then when we graze everything else, we start grazing it. The cattle don't need supplement. That's some more of our stockpile stuff. We like to go into the pasture with a little feed on the cows. One cheap way of storing feed is on your cows. Let them get fat, and so we like for the cows to go in with a body condition score of 6, 7, or 8. But when they go in to the winter, they start calving in January. That's another look at our grazing system, and you can see some of those pastures can water from 2 waters. That just doubles our efficiency. We produce quality forage, and we either graze it or we put it up for hay. We provide fresh water. We move the cows constantly. They love it. They wait for us. We have mineral boxes that are portable. We can move the mineral boxes around and put them where the cows are not grazing, and we can spread the grazing out more by making them go to the mineral box. We have permanent fence. We have temporary fence. We have weed control. I don't like chemicals. I do use them. I spot spray for thistles, briars, fence lines, but I've seen people abuse chemicals and it costs them. We have filter strips around our ponds. We also have some recreation in our ponds, and we have good plain fresh water. Heavy use areas in the corrals. Indoor working facilities makes it easier on man and beast. My pastor's 2 best friends, a bush hog and a cedar. Tricks of the trade, that thing you see floating around in that tank is a peanut butter jar with 2 little slits cut in it just below the lid there. And there's a pool pill, chlorine pill. Put it in there, put a rock in there to help hold it down, turn it upside down. It just floats around in there, dribbling chlorine out. That's not my idea. I'm a copycat. I see things, I hear things, I try things, and the things that work, I try to incorporate them into my thing. if you really want to get serious about managing your grazing, it's real easy. All you got to do is build a fence. And when you build that fence, it don't have to be no elaborate fence, expensive fence. It just needs to be a hot wire. And then you're going to start seeing the value of it. Now, these calves are over here grazing. The mama's over here waiting. Those calves are creeping over. It makes a big difference. You got to, as your system evolves, you're going to have to put more into it. You're going to have to consider shade, water, and a bunch of stuff. But I want to tell you, like my mama told me, if there's a will, there's a way. If you want to do better, you can figure out a way to do it. I got bees to pollinate. I got more bees. They do that occasionally. We have pollination plants to attract them. Clover. We have field days. We appreciate all the help we get, and we give help. We let them use our farm for just about anything they want. This is my wife's garden. The garden on Chantilly is probably one of the most unique gardens in the state, and we use the garden and the rotational grazing system, and the crater. We have a meteor crater on our farm, and we draw a whole lot of people out there, people that need to know about agriculture, and we use the opportunity having these people out there to tell them about what we're doing. I heard people here today talking about people need to know what you're doing. If they know what you're doing, they don't have to make up stuff. We do this. Stewardship is job one, and I want to tell you that stewardship is an act of reverence to God, and therefore it brings blessings to us and to mankind. I want to tell you, we need to be good stewards of what God has blessed us with. And I thank you so much for allowing me to do this. And I hope that it's been beneficial to you. I know that what I've heard today has been beneficial to me. Anybody got a question? We put it in 1970. There was an agronomist at the University of Georgia. His name was Elvis Beatty. Well, the name Elvis has really hit it with me back then. But anyhow, he was way ahead of his time. He was a great man, and he was a scientist. He said, Ted, I want to tell you, I'm a scientist. I'm thinking 25, 30, 35 years down the road. He said, people are going to laugh what we're going to do out here, but you just let them laugh, and you see how far you are ahead of him. That's what he told me in 1970. And we put that system in. And lately, about the last 10 years, people have been coming from everywhere to look at it. And I'm glad. I'm really happy about it. I'm not taking credit for it. I'm just saying that God has blessed us. God has blessed us with opportunity. He's blessed us with knowledge. All we're lacking is determination. If we can be determined to take the opportunities that God has given us and the knowledge that He has blessed us with, we can turn this world upside down. Thank you.